The third aspect of our faith goes on to the forgiveness of sins. Now, what is forgiveness of sins? It is the core of our Christian faith. The moment we remove forgiveness of sins, we are completely moving away from the gospel mandate. Forgiveness of sins is our calling to God. We come to God to seek God's forgiveness. If we say that I don't need forgiveness, I don't need anybody to judge me of my sins, judge me as a person, I just will be my own judge. And if we are of that attitude, then I think we are moving away from the Christian faith. For worship today also largely, unfortunately, in many startup churches, worship, or in many of our churches also, worship has become only a sound and light event. Worship is not a performance. Worship is not a sound and light event. Worship is you coming to God, seeking God's forgiveness. And so the creedal statement very clearly affirms not only our faith in one Lord, one faith and one baptism, but it moves on to say that you need to come to God and seek God's forgiveness. It is an act of humility. It is acknowledging God's sovereignty. So the sovereignty of God is compromised when we say that I don't need forgiveness. If you say that you don't need forgiveness, that means you're compromising on the sovereignty of God. The sovereignty of God is necessary because we are not absolute. None of us are absolute. Today the culture of the day is that people like to affirm the absoluteness of humanity. To say that I'm absolute, whatever I do is absolute, that nobody can question me. But I think that is where, for us, our faith today, the creedal affirmation of the forgiveness of sins is very, very important. It affirms the sovereignty of God, and it affirms that we need God's forgiveness.